All right, I think we can start. Can everyone hear my voice? If my voice is clear enough, can I get a thumbs up or can I get any reaction? All right, there's one, two, okay. That's more than enough reactions. I hope my voice is loud and clear. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to HIMSI's first ever webinar in Venus Festival, writing research paper in English for college students. How is everybody doing? I hope you're all healthy and happy wherever you are, whether you're at home or maybe you're out of the house. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone's pumped up and feeling energized. Can I get a reaction, an emoji from all of you that express how you guys are feeling today? Can I get a reaction on that? We see a thumbs up. We see a confetti. Okay. All right. Thank you for the reactions, everyone. Now, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Anissa. I am an English literature student from Venus University, HIMSI's HR activist, and I will be your host for today to guide all of you until the end of the webinar. Beforehand, allow me to elaborate a little bit on Venus Festival, also known as BFest. So, Venus Festival is an annual festival, a series of expo events and seminar webinars by Venus University for Venusians that the public can also join. Today, May 20th, 2022, HIMSI, also known as Himpunan Mahasiswa Sastra Inggris, has a chance to hold a seminar for everyone to attend. Can we move on to the next slide, please? All right. So has any one of you struggled in writing a research paper or any type of writing in English? Because I personally have, and it is quite hard for me to deal with, especially being an English literature student. If you do, fear not, because today our two stunning speakers will share their presentations regarding this matter. They are both lecturers from Venus University, from English department. First, we have Ms. Paramita Ayuning Tias. Good afternoon, Ms. Mita. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon, Anissa and everyone.
Good afternoon, Miss. How are you feeling today?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, that's good to hear. And we also have Miss Listia Ayu Saraswati. Good afternoon, Miss Listia.
Hi, hello, good afternoon. Hi, Anissa. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Miss. How are you feeling today?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay, all right. Also, I will not be alone in guiding everyone throughout today's webinar. My good friend Ayatwa Sara from HIMSI's Education Division will be with us as our moderator for our Q&A session later on. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, Anissa. Hope you're doing well.
I hope you're doing good as well. You look fantastic.
Thank you. You too. Hi, Miss Mita. Miss. Hi, everyone.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, there are some rules that need to be followed by the participants. Number one, make sure that your name is in accordance with the format. For Venusians, first type in your student number, followed by a hyphen, and then your full name. Non-Venusians, you can put your institution, followed by a hyphen, and then type in your full name as well. Number two, we expect all of the participants to turn on their cameras. If you have zero problems with your internet connection, I hope you can show us your beautiful faces. Number three, all of the participants shall turn off their microphones throughout the webinar. You will have a chance to turn on your microphones later on in the Q&A session. Next slide, please. All right. Here is the QR code that will lead you to the attendance form that you can scan. For those who are unable to scan the QR code, the committee will type it down in the chat box. It is mandatory for everyone to fill both the attendance form and an exit ticket that will be given out at the end of the webinar, and stay in the Zoom until the end in order to obtain the SAT points for Venusians and the e-certificate. So now I will give you some time to fill up the attendance form until 4:15, and I will get back to you guys later.
If you guys
Okay, we are back. I hope everyone has filled out the attendance form. I would like to remind each and every one of you to stay in the Zoom until the end of the webinar because we will give out the link to the exit ticket. Next slide, please. All right, moving along. As shown in the title of today's webinar, today we will get an insight on writing a research paper in English for us as college students. Now, can you guys type in the chat box one word that describes the phrase writing a research paper? Can we get at least 10 people to describe writing a research paper in just one word? Please type into the chat box. For me, my word to describe writing a research paper will probably be exhausting. Why exhausting? Because I know writing a research paper can take up a lot of energy and hard work. Can we see what's yours? Draining, complicated. I can relate to those. Detailed. All right. Headache. Okay. Do you have some more, maybe? Ooh. Oh, hi, Farhan. Long time no see. Heartbreaking. Okay. Do you have more? Difficult. Essay. Yes. Okay, maybe that's it. All right. Well, there are a few. Thank you for sharing your words with us. Okay, committees, please stop share the screen, please. Okay, all right. Now, unlike writing stories or blog articles, there are specific rules and structures that we must learn and master in order to make a good research paper. As we may know, research papers are the most effective means to communicate information across a large network and are the core of modern research. In writing a research paper, it conjures up images of long hours and painful efforts in writing what we must write. It is important for us to understand how to make a good research paper, specifically in English for future needs. As a college student before graduating, you will almost certainly have to write at least one college level research paper. If you have never written a research paper before, it can be very stressful. Now, don't worry, Ms. Paramita Ayunintias will be giving out her presentation on writing an English research paper for college students like us. All right, Ms. Mita, are you ready to present?
Yes, Anissa.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. So I will share my screen.
Okay.
Okay, could you please enable the, yes, I cannot share the screen. So I hope you can see it now, the slides. Yes, okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Paramita Ayunintias from English Department, Bina Nusantara University. And thank you for having me. And what I would like to share today is this topic, common mistakes in writing research paper. So I made the slides based on my experience of teaching essay writing and also academic writing, and also my experience of checking and grading students' papers for various courses. So let's now see what are the common mistakes that students usually do. But before that, so yes, writing is frustrating, just like the words that you have shared in the chat box. It can be difficult, it's exhausting, it's also draining. So this meme says, deal with it, because that's part of being a college student, right? You have to write a lot of papers. And yeah, writing papers, of course, is different from writing Instagram caption, writing text messages to your friends or to your family members, because there are so many requirements that you have to follow. So yeah, probably because of this, because there are so many things to do. So writing research paper for me is like juggling. There are so many things that you need to think about, and you, after finishing it, you have to check and check again before you submit it. So now let's see, the first common mistake is this one: not following the instructions or requirements. So sometimes you have to write paper for your assignments, or probably it's part of your exams. or you want to send your papers to academic journals or probably to conferences. And each of these conferences, for example, they have requirements. They have different requirements. And even from one lecturer to another lecturer, they might also give you different instructions. So I think the first thing that you need to do before starting to write your paper is that you need to read the instruction or the requirements carefully. So pay attention. For the instruction, you can pay attention to the verbs, whether to identify, to describe, analyze, compare or contrast, or to discuss, because these different verbs will guide you in writing the research paper. So the requirements will also include, like, for example, the number of pages of pages or words, the organization of the paper, so the elements needed in the paper, and citation and reference styles, because different disciplines will also require different citation style. In English department, we use APA style. And citation style can also be very difficult. If you have to write thesis, if you have to write research paper, you need to really follow the guidelines for the citation styles. And also some technical element like where to submit it or how to submit it. And based on my experience of grading the papers for my classes is that usually some students cannot get full scores because they do not really follow, or probably they did not read the instructions carefully. So I think this is very important to read the instructions or the requirements carefully. The second one is that the topic and objectives are not clear. So the topic for your research paper should not be too broad or too narrow, because if it's too broad or too narrow, you will be facing difficulties. So if it's too broad, for example here, education in Indonesia. So you want to write a topic about education in Indonesia. So that's very broad. You will have too many things to write down. So probably the requirement only asks you to write, let's say 5 to 8 pages. But if the topic is too broad, is as broad like this, you will be confused yourself. You will not know what to put down in your writing. So you have to narrow it down. But also be careful with that. If it's too narrow, like this, primary education in Sukajadi village in March 2022. So that's very specific. If it's too specific, it would be difficult for you to elaborate your points, to elaborate your ideas and paper. And sometimes it would also be difficult for you to find any information about it. You can find information about it, but it might take a long process, and maybe it would not be easy to do a library research about it. So try to think about a topic that is not too broad or that is not too narrow. So make sure that you can cover interesting ideas, but then it would also be easy for you to find sources and references about the topic. And also, every research paper needs to have an objective, at least one objective. So objective is like what you want to say with this paper. So you have to determine your objective, whether you want to persuade, whether you want to build an argument, or to investigate, or to critically analyze, or to compare and contrast. And these objectives also need to be written down in your research paper. So the simple sentence is like, this paper will talk about blah, blah, blah. The objective of this paper is to critically analyze the poems by Percy Bysshe Shelley, for example. So you need to state your objective as clear as possible. Because I think that's also a plus point for your paper, if you can explain your objective clearly. The third question, where's the thesis statement? An academic essay needs to have a thesis statement. And sometimes when I'm checking my students' paper, I very often ask this question: where's the thesis statement? So thesis statement is usually at the end of the introduction or at the end of the introductory paragraph. So of course, every paper needs to have introduction and then the body paragraphs and also the conclusion. So thesis statement is at the end of the introduction. So I always treat thesis statement as a promise to your readers. because by reading this thesis statement, your readers will know, or they'll have some kind of expectations what they will find or what they will read in your paper. And again, because this statement has to be as clear as possible and it has to be in a complete sentence, subject, verb, and object. And I also believe that this statement is also like a guidance for you so that your writing will not stray away from the original topic. So it can be a guidance for you. Having a thesis statement is a guidance not only for the readers, but also for you as the writer of the paper. Number 4, methodology is not stated. So different from an ordinary essay, a research paper needs to have or needs to state the methodology. And stating the methodology will help your readers to understand your research process. So every research has steps to do. And you have to write down each of the steps of your research. You can use a scheme or diagram to show the research flow to your readers. And you also need to explain the steps one by one. In English department, we usually have textual analysis or close reading or qualitative approach because we do not analyze numbers, but usually do textual analysis. So state that in your paper. So the methodology that is going to be used in this paper is blah, blah, blah. Explain one by one. Again, this will be useful for the readers. And based on my experience, usually during the thesis examination, the examiners will ask about the methodology. So they can be very strict about methodology. So next is number 5. Data are not presented in an organized way. So organization is very important in research writing. I have to underline this. I have to highlight this, organization. So your ideas should be organized well so that your points, your ideas, your statements, it would be easier to follow. So in the body paragraphs or in the result and discussion part, sometimes the data are not presented well. So it would be difficult or it would be challenging for your readers to understand what you're trying to say in your paper. So using visualization will help your readers. You can use tables, charts, graphs, or even maps to present your data. And even sometimes, if your data are not numbers, you can still use charts or probably you can still use maps. So it really depends on your data. If using visualization will be helpful, go ahead, use that. And if you're English literature students, maybe your data are taken from literary texts, and don't forget to quote them correctly, again, using APA style. Many of my students, they have great ideas and they have great statements, but the great statements and the great ideas need to be supported by data. So we lecturers or we the readers of your paper, so we really want to see the data in your paper. So present them in an interesting way. Number 6, using language that is too casual. Again, research paper needs to be written not only in English, but in formal English. Again, I think, we have to avoid using slang language. I know using slang language can be very fun and can be very cool, but research paper is not the place for those words. So avoid using slang language, contracted words. So words like gonna, gotta, want, don't, doesn't. Please do not use that in your paper, and also avoid using pronouns like I or we. If you use I or we, your paper will sound too subjective. Again, because it's in a formal situation, you need to be objective. And also, by not using I or we, your language would not sound too emotional. So research paper, unfortunately, yeah, the language can be cold, yeah, because it's in a formal context. But I think this coldness, this objectivity would also make your papers free from bias. So using language that is too casual, it might sound too emotional, or some bias could be implied in it. So please use formal English. So use the correct vocabulary and also use the correct pronouns. Oh, this is also a very common mistake. Number 7, references are not valid or too old. I once read a thesis, and the reference was from a book published in the 70s. So it's like 40 years ago. Yeah, I wasn't even born. So that would not be valid. So because that book was too old. So please find the recent sources. At least it should be no more than 10 years old. So references could be from books, it could be from academic journals, it could be from conference papers, it could also be from internet sources. But for internet sources, you have to check your reliability. Yeah. You have to check, make sure that the articles that you quote from the internet, the name of the authors is stated. And then also, you have to check the validity of the internet sources. For academic journals, you can find a lot of academic journals. Sometimes you should pay for it, but in ResearchGate, you can find free academic journals. So use the recent one, again, not more than 10 years old. Yeah, especially for academic journals, they are updated regularly. So usually the academic journals published, they contain recent issues or recent topics. And for the books, please use the latest edition, because some books can be published several times and they have several editions. Please find the latest edition of the books. And also, talking about references, use the correct citation, use the correct, and also how to write down the reference list in the correct order. And having the correct references would also help the readers of your paper. I think that writing paper, the process of paper writing is not only beneficial for you, but if you are able to write a great research paper, it would also be very beneficial for the reader. So for other students or for the other researchers. And the last one, not editing your paper before submitting it. These meme can be really extreme, but I'm sure that if you have written a research paper, you understand the nightmare of the editing process. So writing is a process, remember, and typing down your ideas is not enough. If you want to have a great result, writing it down is not enough. Because even though it's difficult, editing process is very important. So that is why even some great writers, they also need the help from the editors to check their writing again. Because sometimes maybe you did not spot grammatical mistakes or probably punctuation errors, but your friends or the other readers that serve as the editors, they can spot that mistake. So it's maybe you can ask your friends to be the proofreader, or maybe if you want to edit your own writing, I think after you have finished writing it down, all of your ideas, just close it. And then maybe after a few hours or probably after the next day, you can check it again with a refreshed mind. So you can identify some grammatical mistakes or any other element that needs to be fixed in your writing. So editing is like the step where you polish your writing. You have to check the grammar, especially if you're written in English. Check in Indonesian, of course, you need to check the grammar as well. Check the grammar and also whether you already have the elements needed, the organization of the ideas, whether the flow of your writing is already smooth or not. So check all of the important aspects of your research paper. So to keep in mind, even though it's difficult, even though writing research paper can be very exhausting and mentally draining. And if you make mistake, it's fine. It's totally okay to make mistakes because that's part of the learning process. But you need to learn from it so that you won't do the same mistake. And then secondly, ask for feedback from your lecturers. So every time you wrote a research paper, so ask for feedback from your lecturers. They would be very happy to help you. And the last one, enjoy the process. It's writing research paper is a learning process. So just enjoy the process because in the end, I think it will be worth it. You will gain a lot from it. Okay, that's it. Thank you for me. After this, Ms. Listia, my colleague, will also give some great idea. We'll also share some great ideas. But for now, that's all from me. So thank you very much.
All right.
So yeah, I'll give it back to Anissa. Thank you, Anissa.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Mita, for the very profound presentation about common mistakes in writing a research paper. I believe everyone has taken a lot from what you have presented. Can everyone give Ms. Mita a round of applause, please? Maybe a clap emoji. Yay! Oh my God. Okay, thank you, everyone. All right, we have now arrived at our first Q&A session. I'm sure everyone, some of you guys are curious about a few things. Don't hesitate to let it out as this topic is very important. For those who have questions, you can raise your hand and turn on your microphone if our moderator calls out your name. You are also welcome to type your questions in the chat box. I invite our moderator for today, Ayatullah Sarah, to take over the Q&A session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anissa. Like Anissa said, if you have any questions, please raise your hand first, or you can type in the chat box. We actually already sent in the absent form earlier. Sorry, may I ask a committee member to send it again, please? Thank you. Okay, if anyone hasn't come up with their questions yet, I personally have a question for Ms. Pinta. All right, Miss, thank you so much for the presentation. I think it was very simple and very straightforward to understand, and I really appreciate the simplicity of it. Okay, so my question for today is, can we use a classic as a reference? Let's say a writing from the 1800s that can be considered a foundation of a certain theory.
Okay, we usually avoid references that are too old or that are old, but probably if that text is very important and no other authors or no other writers discuss that, yes, it's still possible. But yes, if there's another option, if there's a book that is more recent and talking about the same topic, please use the latest one.
All right, thank you, Miss. Okay, we have a question here from Adrika. I'm going to read it for you. You said to enjoy the journey, but it can still be hard. What do you do to relax and have a good time writing?
What do I usually do to relax and enjoy the writing? So I play some music, so my favorite music, and then so I usually write paper about topics that I like. So I think if you write a paper about a topic that you're interested in, you will be enthusiastic to write the paper. But yeah, to relax during the writing, I usually play some music, Drika, and also have some iced coffee.
An iced coffee is definitely a must, isn't it, Miss?
Yes, that's a must. Okay.
All right, Adrika, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Adrika, for the question.
Thank you as well as Adrika. All right, anyone else? Don't be shy, we don't bite.
Any more question about writing a research paper?
Oh, okay. We have a raised hand from, sorry, was that an accident or? I saw a raised hand earlier.
Yes, I saw someone raise their hand.
Okay, then I will move on first. Here's another question from Nathan. Hello, Miss. How often do you have writer's block and how do you deal with it?
Quite often. And usually if I have writer's block, what I usually do is to take a break. You have a writer's block because your brain is too tired, and what you need to do is to take a break and maybe leave the paper for a day or two, and then after that you can go back to that with refreshed mind. So if you're having writer's block, I really recommend having a break.
Okay, I hope that answers your question, Nathan.
Okay, thank you, Nathan.
Anyone else?
Any more questions? So I'm sure that for the mid-exam, you wrote a lot of papers, right? Probably students for my literary criticism class, like Suryo and then Ali, Fandiko. Yeah, you're writing a lot of paper this semester. Fun class. Okay. Maybe I'd like to hear students from other departments. Do we have students from other departments today?
Oh, Miss, we have another question here from Veronica. Hello, Miss. Have you ever experienced being chased by time and not focused, so you made a lot of mistakes in writing?
So you made a lot of mistakes. Yeah. I think, yes, I had that kind of experience that I did not have a lot of time to do to write and also to check all of the elements. I think last year I had this kind of experience where I only have about 2 days or 3 days before the deadline, and I was asked to write a conference paper. So I need to think about the idea, and I needed to think about the idea, and also I needed to write it down in 2 or 3 days. Yes, that's a very exhausting process, and I'm sure that was not my best paper. But yeah, but even though at that time I wasn't satisfied with my result, I kind of made a promise for myself that next time I would do better. So yes, if you ask me, yes, I have that kind of experience. Veronica.
Okay, Veronica, thank you for the question. I hope I answered your question. We have another question here from Febit. Hello, Ms. Mita. I have a question regarding references. Sometimes it can be difficult to read journal articles which have a lot of pages to read about and would be time consuming, especially when you have deadlines. Do you have any tips on how to gather just important points that you want to cite for a paper? I actually also have a lot of difficulty with this.
Okay, yeah. First of all, I suggest you read the abstract of the papers. So the abstract contains the important ideas and also the methodology and also the theory or the concept that the authors use in the paper. So read the abstract first, and then I think you can go to the result and discussion, because the result and discussion part, it contains the important ideas or the important points of the research. So my suggestion is to check the abstract, and then after that you go straight to the result and discussion or the analysis part. That will save a lot of time. February.
Okay, all right, thank you, Febit, for your question. All right, here's another question from Aldrina. Hi, Ms. Mita. I want to ask what's the most applicable way to narrow down a topic, because sometimes I find it difficult. Thank you.
Okay.
Also, so before you answer, Miss, we have 2 minutes left before the Q&A.
Okay. Okay. Usually, my way of narrowing down the topic is that, yeah, so I check whether the topic is doable or not. Yeah, if it's too specific, sometimes it's not doable. You cannot find enough data. You cannot find the correct or the valid references or sources about it. So if the topic is too narrow, you would find that kind of difficulties. So the topic is just right if you feel that you have enough time to do it, and then after that, you will have enough references or sources and data about that topic. So I think, yeah, you need to think about the deadline as well. I hope that answers your question, Aldrina. Okay.
Thank you for your question, Aldrina. Yeah. All right. So, if there are no further questions, this is the end of our first Q&A session. Thank you, Ms. Mita, and thank you for everybody who has posted
Thank
their
you.
questions. All right, I'm going to pass this back to Anissa.
All right. Okay. Thank you for those who have asked. Thank you, Ms. Mita, for the answers. And thank you, Sarah, for taking over the Q&A session. We really appreciate everyone's enthusiasm. Don't worry if you still have questions, because later on we will have another Q&A session. Sarah, I will get back to you later on the second Q&A, okay? All right. Now, as Ms. Mita have mentioned, we actually have one more presentation from Ms. Listia. Hello, Ms. Listia, are you ready to present?
Hi, Anissa. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, all right, the floor is yours.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Hi. So can I get the co-host so that I can share my screen? Oh, I am a co-host already. All right. So, yes. All right. So, okay. So Miss Mita has mentioned about writing thesis statement, because thesis statement is important in your research paper, because it tells the audience, the readers, about what they are going to get in after reading your paper, right? So thesis statement will deliver a very clear what's the reader's expectation in your paper. So here, I'm going to somewhat guide you in writing a strong thesis statement. All right. So yeah, so maybe this is going to be like after this, you're going to have like a writing workshop, if I'm not mistaken. Is that true? The host, yes. Okay. So yes, perhaps you could also apply this I won't say theory. So it's like a, what would you call it? Like a skills, right, in writing thesis statement. So perhaps you could apply it later. Okay, so this is a very formal one to start a presentation. So after this session, or perhaps after my presentation, I hope that you will be able to define the purpose of thesis statement, and you can find its importance in academic writing, especially in writing research paper. And you can also identify elements in thesis statement, and also you can map strategies for writing a strong thesis statement. And after that, we can apply it. All right, so what is thesis statement? Ms. Mita has already mentioned it earlier. So thesis statement is a concise, specific, and arguable explanation of your paper's main arguments, or we can say purpose, right? So me personally, when I'm writing a research paper, the first sentence that I'm thinking about before I write all the others, right, elements in the research paper, I'm thinking about this particular statement. So I'm thinking about what you are going to discuss, and what kind of method or theory that you're going to use, and what kind of result that you expected. So this specific or this particular statement is called thesis statement. So it has to be concise. So we can say like 1 or 2 sentences maximum, right? And be specific on the topic that you're talking about. Don't be too general. And the thesis statement have to be arguable. It means that when we are involving in the academic discussion or academic, let's say like academic argumentation, when you're writing research paper, it means that maybe or perhaps there are some people who will disagree with you, but that's okay. That's what the academic discussion is going on, right? So the thesis statement has to be appeared at the at the beginning part, or at the what I said, like at the end of your introductions. It is quite early to if the readers read your paper, they will find this thesis statement early. So don't keep it too long and keep it in the result and discussion. That would be too late. Yeah, way too late. So please keep the thesis statement appears at or toward the end of your introduction. So the importance. So please keep in mind that the thesis statement will keep you on topic. So it will keep you focused on the topic, right? And yes, as I mentioned, and Ms. Mita also briefly mentioned about it, it is about the reader's expectation. So your readers will know what they will get after reading your piece of writing or your research paper by reading thesis statement, right? So this is like giving them like a clue, right? What to expect for the rest of the paper, all right? And the thesis statement also will answer the questions, reader questions. Why are you telling me this, right? So sometimes some author, some writer put their argumentation or their position in the topic in the thesis statement, right? So if you're asking why this topic is important, why do we have to discuss it, so you can answer that questions in the thesis statement. All right. Sometimes writers or academic writers have a lot of ideas, but if we talk about the significance, they will be like, why, right? Why are we writing about this? So yes, this statement will keep you focused. Okay, and here is what should not be in the thesis statement. So the non-arguable thesis statement is quite dangerous, like what Ms. Mita has already mentioned also. If you set the topic too narrow, it will difficult you to write it down or to write more about it, and it also put your readers into questions, right? That what you're writing is non-arguable, so nobody can what is it can go into a further analysis or going deeper into analysis with your writing, with your research paper. So yes, so a non-arguable claim of the topic or the topic of your paper, it is like a red flag for your thesis statement and also your research paper. So here are a few examples. So if your thesis statement looking like this, this is a non-arguable. So if you presented the data, if it's not that you cannot present any data in your paper, no, yeah, you absolutely have to present data in your paper, but do not put it into your thesis statement, because in your thesis statement will be about your position, your argumentation, your stance in the topic. If you presented the data, it will be non-arguable. nobody could argue the data, right? Because it is a fact, right? It will make you like you are winning alone. Okay. Right. So this is like the first sentence that I present here. According to the 2018 Socioeconomic National Survey, or SOSENAS, 1 in every 9 girls aged 20 to 24 gets married before the age of 18 in Indonesia. So this is a very particular, very specific data. So if you put this into your thesis statement without any further argumentation to it will make it non-arguable, right? So the next example is looking like this. In this paper, I will show the reasons of child marriage in Indonesia rural areas. So this is also sounds non-arguable and also not specific. So this kind of sentence I often say it in a student's paper. So they they write what they are going to do explaining without explaining the action itself. So show the reason. So what is the reason, right? Instead of saying I will show you the reason, so why don't you just say the reason, right? What is your reason on the topic of child marriage in Indonesia? So right. So this is a non-arguable and also non-specific. Okay, so the next one, the thing that you probably want to avoid in writing thesis statement is you bury the thesis statement deep or too long or way too late in your paper, and your reader cannot find it. All right. So this is very important to clearly state or clearly write your thesis statement. So you can, the clue is to put it at the end of the introduction. So you don't have to write, well, this is my thesis statement. No, you don't have to write like that. But yes, you could compose a sentence that is looks like a summary of what's your thoughts going on, right? In the research paper. And the last one is do not make or do not expect that the thesis statement is going to be implied. So thesis statement has to be written down very clearly, okay, in your research paper. So do not expect like, oh, the readers will understand my thesis statement. The readers will understand my grand ideas, my main opinion, my main argumentation on this paper, on this topic. So no, yeah, you have to write it down. You have to set it very clearly. What is your main argument on this topic? And don't keep it too long. Don't keep it way too late. Okay. Okay, so why do I need a thesis statement? So I guess thesis statement would be applied into almost all of your writing assignment. Okay, so it could be like a brief responses, like a short what is it? Yeah, short opinion, short argumentation, like we could do in the Binus Maya forum, let's say, or a discussion post, a short essay, or any kind of essay, long essays, short essays, research paper, right? Or your instructors may not always explicitly state that they need thesis statement. So I would be grateful if I have a lecturer like Miss Mita. Miss Mita said that I often found students' paper do not have thesis statement, and I would like to remind them again. So it would be very grateful. Okay, so perhaps most of other lecturers or other instructors do not explicitly state that they want this specific thesis statement into your research paper. So yes, please make it a habit, right? Believe me, it will make the readers easy in reading your paper, right? All right. And how do I get ideas for thesis statement? So we can start from here. yes, before writing, you have to read, collect data, organize your reading. You can curate your reading, and you can collect and organize evidence, the data, to support your main arguments. And then you can look for the connections among the evidence, among the data, which one is going to be your main supporters to support your argumentation. And also you have to also think about the signification of those data or those evidence that you have collected. And then and remember, this is a cycle, right? So you can also redo this cycle. And then you may after you writing down you writing it down, you can you can assess the goal of your paper based on these connections, right? So have you got a clear purpose? You have got a clear method to do this research. And also I'm sorry, is my voice clear enough for you guys? Yes.
Miss.
Is it okay? Right. So I thought somebody said that the voice is breaking. All right, and the last one, you can ensure that you are thinking about the assignment prompt throughout the process. So you can also this prompt this is supposed to be outline, right? So at first I wanted to talk about the outline, but I think the time is not enough to talk about outline in under 30 minutes. So yes, please. Thesis statement is also, you can put the thesis statement at the very beginning or at the pre-writing process while you are making your writing outline. Okay. So yes, you can also do this thesis statement in your prompt, right? In your writing prompt or the outline. Okay, and your outline along with the thesis statement in it, you can use it to validate your writing or to help you in editing your writing. So you can check what's point it's clear enough. You have mentioned it quite clear, put enough evidence into it, and you can also make sure that your paper or your writing is it is fulfilled what you are expected in the thesis statement, right? Okay, so okay, so what should my thesis statement include? So I think this slide is it's going to be like the main course, the main course. So you have to put what is your claim first in the thesis statement. So the claim itself, the statement, your position, your stance in the topic, right? And how you are going to prove your claim. So this is about the method. What method, what theory, what concept you're going to use to stand on the position, on the what, right? And last one is why. Why is your claim significant? So you can put the terms of understanding your position as a whole. So you can answer the questions, so what, right? So what, how, and why. That is going to be included in the thesis statement and make your thesis statement complete. All right, so after this, we're going to review a few thesis statement, a few students' thesis statement that might be found in students' paper, right? So we're going to review and we're going to compare it with the revised version. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so I have exhibit 1. So in this essay or in this paper, I will examine 2 scholarly articles to find similarities and differences. All right, so I find this particular sentence quite often in students' paper. And this statement is okay. It is quite concise, So if you say that this statement has to be concise, yes, it is concise. But you may have, as a reader, you may have a few questions, right? So they're going like this. Wait. Okay. The statement is concise, but neither specific nor arguable, right? So specific, you may ask, what articles, what scholarly articles that you want to examine. So what is the topic? So you don't really state the topic clearly. What these articles is about? So what field is the author writing in? Okay, so you need further arguments into it. So you need to analyze that you're going to need to analyze similarities and differences that might be applied in this research paper, right? So I've got a revised one. So this is the revised version. So you may say in this paper or in this essay, I will argue that this specific article or this specific scholarly article written by who and in what year about what, right? So in this case, that Bowler 2003 autocratic management style, when coupled with another one, Smith's 2007 theory of social cognition, can reduce the expenses associated with employee turnover. So you mentioned a very specific academic articles that you're going to examine the similarities and differences, and you also state your stance about it, your opinion about it. So like what I've mentioned earlier, so quite often students say like, I will analyze or I will give reasons. You write about the action, right? You will examine, you will give reason, but how would you do it? So this is a very that is more important than stated what you are going to do or the action itself. So you are this is more important to state the detail of the action. So in this case is the position or the action of examine or finding similarities and differences is to find or to support the writer's argumentation can reduce the expenses associated with employee turnover. So it's still concise but specific and arguable. So this is very specific, mentioning the concrete ideas and exact authors, what the two papers that you're going to examine, what they're about, who wrote it, right? And also clear in the field and also topic of the discussion. And you can also put the your analysis on like a brief analysis or your brief main argument on the process of examination itself. So do not say that I will examine. So please tell me your result of the examination or your early thoughts on the examination. So yes, by in this case is you can see the sentence can or the clause can reduce the expenses associated with employee turnover is the main argumentation itself. So you cannot find it in the previous statement, right? So this is a clearer one, Exhibit 1, or revised version, and Exhibit 2. Leadership is an important quality in nurse educators. So this one is also too broad, therefore, again, non-arguable. And you in this case, you need to come up with a more arguable claim. So probably a narrower one in explaining about the topic. In this case, is leadership. So what kind of leadership? Why is it? Why it is important? Right? Why you claim that this is a very this is important quality? Okay, so you have to be more specific. So this is the revised version of that exhibit 2. You can say like this. Roderick's theory of participatory leadership is particularly appropriate to nurse educators working within the emergency medicine field, where students benefit both from collegial and kinesthetic learning. So you can also present your own position in this, right? So be more detailed. Why do you think this kind of topic is important, right? And what in this case is leadership. So you have to mention specific about it, about leadership. Leadership is a very wide topic, many kind of leadership, many types of leadership. So what kind of leadership? Why this is important? Say it. Okay. So I have this. Okay. This. Okay, so we go to the next exhibit. Okay, sure. All right, so there are always alternatives to illegal drug use. So this statement is put so many questions. Okay, what are the alternatives? Okay, so it makes claim, right? But not a claim that will sustain extended discussion. So I think it will sustain extended discussion, but the readers will give you so many questions. So what are the alternatives? Why you say always? Okay. So this type of claim might be appropriate for conclusion, but not for the thesis statement, because in the thesis statement, audience will you will keep the audience wondering or engaging, right, with them. So the audience will have enough clue for them to to continue reading your paper. So if you're giving away the clue at the very beginning, the audience will say like, oh yeah, okay, so there's always alternatives. So let's stop here, right? So they don't want to extend any time to write or I mean to read your writing. So you could give a clue, quite what is it like enough clue, right, for the audience to sustain their reading. Okay, so this statement should be complex enough to explore over the length of the entire paper. So what, why, and how is very important, or is very like a major stepping stone into your paper, into the journey of your paper. So the audience will know what is being discussed in here and how you're going to discuss it and why it is important. So that's enough. If you're giving away clues like this, there are always alternatives to illegal drug use. The audience don't know how could you say that, and why this is important, why you say it is always, and what is it about drug use or the illegal one? So many questions. So this is the revised version. The most effective treatment plan for methamphetamine addiction may be a combination of pharmacological and cognitive therapy, as argued by Barker, Smith, and Javier. You can also mention other authors or other writers to support your arguments, because in academic research paper or academic paper, it is very important to um, to give acknowledgement, or what you call it, like, yes, acknowledgement to the scholars or academians that have done research in your field or in your topic. So this is very important to also read about what other scholars have written about it before you write a paper. For example, you want to read or you want to write about feminism. Say like intersectional feminism in Indonesia, let's say, or in Southeast Asia. There are many others authors or many others scholars they have written about intersectional feminism. So yes, you must or you have to read their works. Not all of them, but you can pick some. There are prominent figures in this kind of field or in this kind of discussion, topic of discussion. So their arguments, their main arguments will support yours, and you can also put them into your thesis statement to make it clearer, right? All right. So, and I completely agree to Miss Mita's statement. The process of writing research paper is not short. It's not like you, even though I think like it is not 2 days or a day, right? Jadi bukan pekerjaan apa ya, Roro Jonggrang ya, harus bikin patung semalam. No, that's impossible. So I guess writing a research paper a week is is a very during the time during a week, yeah, it's most stressful. A week is stressful enough to write one research paper. So Miss Mita's experience is about how many days, Miss? 3 days for conference paper?
Yeah, I think 2 to 3 days.
2 or 3 days. So amazing. So amazing. So
stressful.
So stressful, yes. I can imagine that. So stressful. Yes, and I bet you cannot do anything else, yeah. Like we are the lecture, we are I guess like we are accustomed to, I mean not accustomed, we are quite happened so many times, right? That we have to that we have to juggle 2 or 3 writing job or writing assignment in one time, and that was so stressful. So I guess writing process is not like a day or 2 days process. It will take like a long time, right, to do it. So this is very important because you have to, my own term, it's you have to shop. You have to do the shopping, right? The shopping means that you go through the Google Scholar, you type your topic, you read the papers that has been suggested, or you ask your lecturer or your friends or your seniors, I want to write about this. Can you give me some reference paper about it? So yes, by reading the paper, and also you have to what is it? Yeah, like you have to like digest it, right? Summarize them, not it. It must be more than one. Summarize them, digest them. It takes time, right? Okay, so yeah, and okay, 5 minutes. Okay, sure. Okay, so next would be like research papers time. So it looks like a jump topic, right? from what I have discussed, but I think this is very important for you to also understand the style of writing. Ms. Smith, I've already also mentioned about a few writing style. I'm going to review it quickly here. So this is a very important reminder for you to follow a certain writing style before you submitting or before you write research paper. So why this is important? Because it enables you to enter the conversation of the discourse of academic discourse, right? And also a style or writing styles will guide you to be more organized in presenting your academic or research paper, right? So it gives you insights into the topic like formatting, word choices, grammar, typography, and style for citing and referencing. Okay, and it also could be one of the consideration of the preferences for the editors, right? If you are submitting the paper to a certain conference or a journal, quite often they are very strict on this writing style or the citation style or the referencing style, because it helps them in the editorial processes. If you do not follow this certain rules, right, writing styles, yeah, most probably your paper will be rejected. Okay, so here is it like a view review here? I'm going to show you like a very quick one. I open it in the this one. It looks like it. Okay, so yes, we got like APA, MLA, Chicago, IEEE. So many kind of styles. And if you're talking about submitting a research paper into conference or a journal, usually or they always send you the template, or they always mention, at least they mention what kind of style that they will follow in the conference or in the journal. So my best advice is you follow them. So do not argue with the style for the conference and the pay or the journal. So the risk is your paper might be rejected. So you have to follow them. So the most common is these three: APA, MLA, and Chicago. So APA is the most common. Okay, so it looks like for the let's go to the citation. Okay, so this is the citation. So how not the citation, I mean how they write references. Okay, so some of you, or maybe most of you, quite familiar with it. And they have the double space, section label at the center. So it's like a very technical one. And also the MLA one. Okay. All right. It looks like it. So in MLA, the year, beda year, the difference, the year of the publication, they keep it at the end of the references or the citation. All right. So this is the Chicago one. Okay, let's see. Okay. Was the same, but they also looks like a bit like the MLA, right? The year you put that in at the end of the citation. Okay, and I also put some others kind of style. You can learn it in my slide. Can I share a slide with you guys? The committee will distribute the slides, right? So you can check other styles, other writing styles there. And also this very they usually the conference and the journal will give you like a template, so you can adjust your writing into the template. So whether they use like a single column or double column, and how many pages should you write as the requirements, and how many even the graphic the graphic is also like some conference or some journals, they say like you can put 3 to 5 graphic at the very maximum. So if you have like more than 5 graph, it will be included into your annex. What is annex? Your like edit pages to your paper. So probably your paper should be like 5 pages. And if you have more than 5 graphs, right, maybe you have a lot of data and you have a lot of data visualizations, you can keep it in the annex. And usually in the journals or the conference, you will pay more to add pages. Okay, so yes, that's the another complication of writing research paper. Okay, so I guess this is going to be the end of my presentation. And if you have any questions, I'll be pleased to discuss it with you guys. All right, back to you, Anissa
All
or
right.
Sarah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Licia, for sharing your insightful presentation about writing a strong thesis statement. Actually, I am now more confident to write a research paper after listening to what you and what Ms. Mita have shared with us. Can everyone please give Ms. Licia a round of applause? Let out your clapping emoji, please.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, everyone. We have now arrived at the second Q&A session. Same as earlier, for those who have questions, you can raise your hand and turn on your microphone if our moderator calls out your name, or you're also welcome to type your questions in the chat box. Again, I invite our moderator, Sarah, to take over the second Q&A session. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Anissa. Okay, everyone, you can put in your questions now because we only have about 10 minutes for this Q&A session. You may type in the chat or you may raise your hand. All right, so we have a question here from Arasila. Hello, good afternoon. How do we stay on track on the thesis?
All right, so good question, Aracela. So how do we stay on track on the thesis? So yes, if you've been thesis like scriptsy or the paper itself, right, the research paper. Okay, so my answer would be like make an outline. So the outline is going to be your map to be to keep you on track to what you have what you have designed for your research paper or what any other kind of academic paper like scriptsy or thesis. Okay, so to keep you on track, yes, the outline will be the best way to the outline means that you have to jot down like like a only one or two full sentence, or you can make a like a points, right? What you are going to write in a discussion, what I mean in the introduction, what is your thesis statement, and what you're going to write in yeah, you can make like a section of the paper, right? So generally in a very common format, a basic format in academic paper or a research paper, if we get introduction, you get like a method, right? And in after the method, you get like analysis and the conclusion. All right, so four parts: introduction, a method, analysis or discussion, and also the conclusion. So you may have like for each section, you may have the outline to it. So what you're going to write in the introduction, what you're going to write in the method, right? Or we can say another name of method is you can like a frameworks of thoughts, or yes, methods or frameworks, right? When what you're going to write in the discussion and also the conclusion. So outline will keep you on track. Aracela, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, Aracila, thank you for your question. Anybody else would like to ask Ms. Listy?
Any more question?
I believe we only have about 7 minutes left before we close this Q&A session.
Okay. More question? No.
I'll wait 1 minute before we close the Q&A session because we have another activity after this. Okay then. All right, so since there are no other questions, I will now close this Q&A session. Thank you, Ms. Listia, for your insight.
Thank you,
And
Sarah.
thank you, and thank you, Aracila, for your question. I will pass this back to Anissa and we'll proceed with the next activity.
All right, thank you. Our activity is not over yet. We actually have one more. Can the committee please share us the link to the Padlet? All right, everyone, now you are expected to write your own take on a research paper in the Padlet. I hope everyone knows how Padlet works. If this is your first time using Padlet, don't worry. All you have to do is access the link, click the plus sign, and start writing. If you're done, don't forget to click publish. As what we have learned in this webinar, you have to make your own research paper. It doesn't have to be long. Just write it down in accordance with what a research paper is like. There is no specific topic, so you are free to write any topic that you like. Just make sure that you're writing it in English and don't forget to imply what the speaker has shared with you. So the link to the Padlet has been shared. Everyone, please access the link. You all will have 20 minutes to write, and later on, we will have a discussion about what you all have written. I hope you guys are as excited as I am, and your 20 minutes starts now. Good luck. All right, welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a good break. We will now start our discussion. Miss Mita, Miss Listia, are you still there? All
Yes.
right.
Anissa
Yes,
here.
yes, I'm here.
Okay, I hope you're hanging in there. This will be our last activity in today's webinar. Can the committee please share screen the Padlet? All right, Miss Mita and Miss Listia will share their thoughts on what everyone has written. Miss Mita and Miss Listia, I invite you to take over the discussion session. Thank you.
All right. So,
Miss Lucy, you start.
um, let me read some of it first. Okay. This is a wide variety of topic here. From online learning to Viking.
Yes. So you can scroll.
Sorry, Miss.
Scroll down below.
Right, Miss.
I think we have some posts below this. Could you please scroll down again? I think we have about eight posts. Oh, okay, this one. Yes, various topics, like Ms. said. Yeah, what this statement is?
I guess this is some almost call it like almost all of the short paper here. It's about like an introduction here, perhaps like the introduction part. Okay, but some also have like a very specific method and also like result. It's like let's see. Uh,
Berkali-kali. Nggak tahu ya jadinya episode.
mm, mm. Miss Mita, you would like to go first about it?
Okay.
Uh,
I think what I can say, yeah, looking at it at a glance, is that good vocabulary. So you have various topics, and then you use specific terms related to your topic. So I think in vocabulary aspect, I think you have shown that you're using formal words and also specific terms. But then for the just like Ms. Listia said, this is still, I think this is still introductory part.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we haven't
Yes.
touched the resulting discussion, but okay, this like for example, the study of postage through these small pieces of paper. A social and economic can be tracked. It is not only about collecting, but also appreciation and research activities on postage stamps, stamp envelope. So remember that in research paper, you want to state something, you want to argue about something. So if it's just about that it's not only about collecting, but also operation and research, you need to make sure that you will have supporting statements or supporting ideas about that in your result and discussion. Probably evidence based on data, and then quotes from other resources, references. So I think we cannot talk much because this is still an introductory part. What is
Yes, agreed. And also I can see some of the writing here is, I think this is going to be like a very comprehensive introductory part, like health and lifestyle from Sandra Ria Sitepu. So I think this is quite a complete one. Let's see, like talking about the lifestyle, and yeah, some of the claim itself, like the last sentence in the first paragraph. Maybe the school and campus can provide good treatment by doing positive activities such as exercising together from their respective homes before learning comments. So yeah, you state quite or very clear arguments on your on this topic, but what you're going to follow up with the rest of the introductions, and like a specific claim, but and
Surya, can you
then-
scroll up? Sorry, Surya, can you please scroll up?
okay. And the other thing that caught my attention is the Viking conversions to Christianity. Yeah, this is yeah. Okay, and right, and the last sentence from the Viking topic is the paper will research through the literature review method how, when, and by whom the Viking from Scandinavia were converted to Christianity. So I guess this will be like what you meant like a thesis statement. So right. So it is better for you to how you're going to research it. All right. So research is a very wide term. So I guess my comment would be like how you're going to research it. You're going to like making like a narrative about it, search or do do I mean like do the study on the narratives, or do the study on you like his historical study gitu ya. And it's like will research is like very wide and very general term. I mean like in making thesis statement you have to be more more specify You have to be more specified on this. So how you are going to do this research.
Yes, yeah. Every discipline has a different way of doing the
Yeah,
research.
of doing the research.
But I think for
Agree.
introduction, the introduction part needs to be engaging. So even though it's research paper written in academic context, it still has to be engaging. So you give background about your topic, like for this one, when COVID-19 reached Indonesia for the first time, the country was forced to a state of lockdown. Department store, schools, offices. So you give background about your topic, and I think it's really good. So you give background about the recent situation, and then probably some interesting facts. You can use that in your background. You finally go to your thesis statement.
Yeah, I agree. And usually we are in writing background or introduction. We have a lot of data, we have a lot of facts to present, and then we forget about our own statement, our own arguments that we are going to put into the paper, right? So yeah, there's going to be like a lot of things you put into one section all at once. But then at the end, please don't forget you also this is going to be your writing, so you have to write your own statement as well and present it at the very beginning in the introduction or in the background. Okay. And to connect one facts or one data into another, that's going to be another challenge, right? There's also myself also facing the challenge, because when writing, it looks like very ecstatic. Like you feel a lot of and you feel energized in collecting facts or data, and you want all of it to be included in your paper. But please remind yourself that this is going to be like done. The paper should be done. So if you spend a lot of time shopping and thinking about, I think I'm going to put all of these facts into my paper, it's going to be like takes longer time.
Yeah. Start
So,
making
yes.
outline. Yeah, you need to start making
Yeah.
outline in the beginning.
Yeah, I agree with the engaging terms, Miss Mita.
Yeah. Also,
Say
this this one caught my attention, that somebody tries to use correct citation. This one.
Oh yes.
Which
one?
This one. Is it T. Erica Patterson or to Erica Patterson? 2014. This one. What is the title of the Knowledge and Trust?
Oh, Knowledge and Trust. Okay.
Knowledge and Trust. So the author of this paper
uses Erica Patterson, right?
Since this is a direct quotation, please write down the page number as well. The page number of the sources that you took this quote. Yeah. So there are so many elements to discuss actually in research paper. So one seminar is not enough, I think.
Like should be like series.
Series of writing research paper. Okay, and what else is interesting here? So various topics.
Yes, and also in
addiction.
Talking about like a direct quotation, usually in APA format, you have to like put a space in between the direct quotation, like what should call it, like this is going like put in the middle of the paragraph, so you have to enter and then put the direct quotation and then the citation and then enter again, and you continue with your sentence. So the direct quotation should be like in the middle of the paragraph. Yeah, that's the APA one. So it be looking like a book. Yeah. Seperti buku gitu ya. And for the citation, you can also do the indirect citation, and you do the paraphrase, and then after at the end of the paraphrases, and at the end of the sentence, before you put the full stop, you can use the bracket and the citation.
Yeah, I think for if you decide to make references, there are some tools that can help you, like Even in Microsoft Word, they have the tool for that.
Yes,
And
yes, we do.
I also often use this tool. What is the name of the application? I forgot.
Um, I use Zotero. Let me write it on the chat box.
Yeah, there are some
Zotero,
Zotero.
and
Okay.
there is another one that is famous.
Mendeley, yes, Mendeley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use that
Mendeley.
one. Mendeley.
Yeah. Mendeley, like for in Binus also they have like a training to use it, but
Mhm.
for the lectures, if I'm not mistaken, like Mendeley, like a series of training using Mendeley.
So using Mendeley will help you arrange your references
And
in an
citation.
organized way and citation. And yeah, you can connect it with your Microsoft Word and maybe in other writing programs. And it's very helpful. And yeah, you don't have to think about where should I start first? Is it the name of the author, the year, the title? No, but so that's what technology is. Yeah, it should be helpful. And in this case, this Mendeley and also Zotero are very helpful for researchers.
And less headache.
Less
headache.
Less headache. Okay. So there are still other forms of headache, but at least this one, is less headache.
Solved. At least this one solved.
Oh, I spotted this one. Thanks to is a bit too casual, so avoid that. So in this part, dopamine addiction. So there's an expression here. Thanks to the very accessible entertainment. And so thanks to is informal. So please avoid using that.
And how about the use of I and myself, Miss Mita? You said that earlier in your presentation. We have to avoid that because it sounds too subjective. And in the academic or research paper, it's rather to be more objective.
Yes.
I can see in which part. Okay. All right. This one. Data on education from Aracila. So as a student myself, this allows to engage in coming on time, making use of relationships, and how to control my own success.
I think to avoid using I, you can change the sentences into passive voices.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. Our time is up, unfortunately, Miss Listia.
Okay.
So I think there are so many things to be learned from writing research paper, and I hope that what we have shared with you is helpful for your assignments and also exams. Okay, back to you, Anissa.
All right. Okay, thank you, Miss Paramita Inintya. And I'm sorry, I kind of got disconnected. Okay, thank you, Miss Mita and Miss Listia for the very insightful comments in the discussion. Thank you for those who have left their writings on the Padlet. With this discussion, I hope everyone has learned a few things about writing a research paper in English. Suryo, can you please stop sharing? All right. Okay. Okay, a little message from me. Not everything can be mastered in an instant. After this webinar that we held, I hope everyone will practice more and more in their writing skills, including writing a research paper in English. Once again, thank you to the speakers, Ms. Paramita Yuning-Tias and, all right, Ms. Paramita Yuning-Tias and Ms. Listia Saraswati for the very perceptive presentation in writing an English research paper for college students. Thank you, Aitko Sara, for being our moderator for today. And lastly, thank you everyone for joining and participating in every session of this webinar. As our host, I hope everyone enjoyed HIMSI's first ever appearance in Binus Festival, and I hope to see all of you in our future events. Sarah, as our moderator for today, would you like to give out your remarks?
All right. I just want to say thank you so much for everybody who decided to join this webinar. I hope this has been an insightful journey, and I hope that you can improve your research paper writing soon. Also, just thank you for Miss Minta and Miss Listia for providing new knowledge and helping us to improve ourselves. And thank you so much to you as well, Anissa, and the committee.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sarah. Before handing out the exit ticket, I invite everyone to turn on their cameras. We will take a quick photo session and I will take the screenshot for us. Everyone, please turn on your camera so we can get on to handing out the exit ticket. Please turn on your cameras, show us your faces. Have 6 slides and only 1 slide with people with the camera on. All right, okay. Once again, I would like to remind you all to please turn on your cameras so we can get on to handing out the exit ticket. If your camera is not working, it's fine. All right. Okay, I will start taking the screenshot, starting with the first slide in 3, 2, 1. Okay, one more time in the first slide in 3, 2, 1. All right, moving on to the second slide in 3, 2, 1. One more time, 3, 2, 1. Oh, everyone else is with their camera off. Okay. Third slide, fourth slide, fifth slide, and sixth slide. All right. Thank you, everyone. Now we have come to the end of this webinar. Today has been a long day. As your host, I apologize for any mistakes, and it has been a pleasure to host this event. On behalf of HIMSI, once again, I would like to say thank you for participating in HIMSI's first ever webinar in Venus Festival, writing research paper in English for college students. Now for the committees, please share the exit ticket. All right, everyone, please scan the exit ticket or click the link in the chat box. I'm pretty sure the committees will share the link. This is mandatory for everyone to obtain SAT points for Venusians and also for your e-certificate. You are welcome to leave the Zoom if you're done filling out the exit ticket form. I, Anissa Rifani, signing off. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.